So, hi everyone. My name is Carla Hage. I'm a Senior Growth Marketing Manager at Elastiflow. I'll be moderating today's webinar. Our webinar today is the ROI Revolution, Cutting Costs Without Cutting Corners in Network Management. I know ROI and revolution are big words, but if we do put network observability aside for a moment, and just think of our tools that we use on a daily basis, whether it's like a design tool, a specific software, project management tool, or even a webinar platform. They're all meant to make our lives easier at the end of the day. And that's efficiency. And at the end of the day, efficiency is ROI. So when it comes to choosing the right tool, it's important to evaluate vendors based on what matters most to you. So whether it's your company size, your technical expertise, your budget, or other key factors or criteria that you care about, this session, what it does and what we're going to focus on is just give you all the criteria around making a solution when it comes to network observability vendor to guide you towards finding the solution that is most efficient for you and the solution that will help you drive and maximize your ROI. So let's dive in. We're going to start by some housekeeping rules. So at the very end of this session, we have a Q&A segment. So please feel free to add all your questions in the Q&A feature, and we will address them at the end. As you heard, the session is being recorded, so we will be sharing the recording at the end to all participants. There will also be poll questions during this session. So we would love your insights. It would really help us understand your pain points and how to best what topics to focus on, basically, as we cover this deck. And if you need any additional support or have any additional questions that come up maybe after the session, feel free to email us at sales@elastiflow.com. And at the very end, a small survey will pop up. And one of the questions that I really like in there is, do you wish we covered any other topics? So that would help us know like what to focus our future webinars on to be more helpful and more relevant to you guys. And our speaker for today is OJ Wolanek. OJ, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Carla. My name is OJ Wolanek. I'm one of the senior solutions architects at Elastiflow. I've been working with observability solutions for several years now, from all different types. And so I'm excited to show you how you can easily select or more quickly select an observability solution for any upcoming projects you may have. Thanks for joining.
So our first slide is actually a poll question. Let me kick it off for you. So what is your biggest challenge in controlling cloud egress costs that impacts your bottom line? We just activated the poll. We'll give it a few minutes so more people get the chance to answer. Looks like the majority are going towards guessing usage instead of using accurate data.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Carla.
I was going to go ahead and share the results, but if you have any feedback on that, please go ahead.
No, I think that the last two are pretty they're pretty similar. So that's really telling and not surprising. The amount of people that are just getting hit with bills and don't know why.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for your feedback. Let's move on to the next slide.
So let's start talking about the first one of the first things you can look at when trying to decide on an observability solution when it comes with respect to ROI. So you want to understand how fast you can go from setup to operational, right? What is everything involved in getting the solution going? There are some solutions that are SaaS, so they're going to be much quicker to get going, right? Some solutions are going to offer pre-configured virtual appliances. Some are going to need a high level of instrumentation in the network, right? So there are devices that might have to be inserted into the network where you would have to have downtime and maintenance time for those to be added. And there are so there's solutions that are intrusive or unobtrusive. You really have to know where all the places are that the product is going to be inserted into your network and how the monitoring is going to happen, so you can understand that. Now, when you want to know when you're going to start seeing actionable insights, right? So what's the time, how much time is it going to take to actually get value in terms of insights and actionable intelligence inside of the dashboards of the product or with alerts and things like that? Some products may take several days. Some products can start showing you information right away. It just depends on how the information is gathered. But these are some of the things that you want to be asking, because obviously the faster you can do that, the quicker your ROI is going to be. And of course, if a solution takes a very long time to get going, then that's more delays, more wasted time, more lost resources and revenue. Another thing you want to look at is the actual performance of the product itself, right? So implementation, time to value is one thing, right? But then you also want to know how quickly does the solution actually generate the insights. So when you have a user at the dashboards or at the solution and they want to know something about their network or about their infrastructure, and they're going to ask a question essentially in the form of a dashboard or a query, how long does it take to actually return results? Okay. Some products can take over a day to return results. And it could require several people to get this query going in the first place. And that may not be acceptable, right? This is especially impactful during an outage or an incident where you have all hands on deck. You might have lots of people, several people, of course, all trying to access the solution at once, trying to collaborate, and then that's just going to slow down everything even more. So if you have a solution that's already taking a day to run a query, you're going to be really impacted negatively during an all hands incident. So obviously, fast data retrieval is going to be crucial during outages and incidents. So you're going to want to make sure that you're looking at a modern platform. And these are just some of the things you want to ask the vendor that you're looking at. Hey, if I've got 10 people all hitting this thing at one time, running a query, infrastructure wide or enterprise wide, what kind of SLAs can we expect? And so let's go ahead and do the next poll question.
So our next poll question is, how does poor visibility into multi-cloud usage impact your bottom line? I'll give it one more minute. But so far, it looks like vendor dashboards that don't reflect actual costs is the one with the highest answers. And it's a match now with paying for unmonitored data transfers between clouds. I will go ahead and share the results.
Okay. Another aspect to look at is scalability, resiliency, and future proofing, right? So can it grow with your network? There are many solutions out there that where you have to actually purchase the extra capacity up front because the solution doesn't really scale very easily, right? There's a heavy lift. So basically you're kind of forced to buy the extra capacity that you don't need now so that you can use it in the future. And that can be pretty wasteful. There are solutions out there that maybe they may be at their limit for your current implementation, right? Or for the implementation you're looking at. So you need to ask questions like, hey, what if I need to double the capacity? What does that look like? Right? That might be extreme for a lot of people, but it'll tell you a lot about how flexible the solution can be when you need to grow. And with organizations acquiring other organizations and networks becoming increasingly complex and people going multi-cloud, you need a product that can span different technologies, different networks, and be flexible in that regard. So another thing that can really impact your ROI is vendor lock-in, right? So you have your data in a vendor solution, but it's difficult to perhaps move that data to another solution, or it's difficult to leverage that data in other ways. Perhaps you want to run different kinds of analysis on the data. If the data is locked into a vendor or even in a cloud, you could be limited as far as how portable that data is, and actually, you may not truly own that data. So you need to kind of consider those scenarios. And then, of course, you want to ensure compatibility across multiple vendors. There are solutions that are made specifically for or by a specific vendor, and they're not going to really play well with other vendors, right? And so what you end up having is multiple dashboards where your team is going to be hit with pivot fatigue, basically moving from one dashboard to the next, and that doesn't let you have that cohesive picture for observability, and it costs a lot of money, especially when you're troubleshooting, and especially in training and personnel required. Another cost to keep aware of, or aspect of ROI, is storage and infrastructure. What hardware, what solutions do I need in place for this solution? Do I need to add network taps in my environment? What supporting ancillary hardware is going to be required? What kind of ongoing maintenance? What kind of space am I going to need? All those types of things. Even a SaaS solution is going to need some infrastructure on premises. So it's important to understand what kind of resources you're going to need, and because all that's going to have management on top of it as well, right? Are the long-term costs predictable, right? This is especially true for SaaS solutions. You want to understand if you've got if you're going to be hit with excessive charges in the future, and how do those charges ramp up, right? Are you going to be able to plan for the future and understand what your costs are going to be? You don't want that to vary too much. And then, is the data accessibility transparent and reliable? Are you able to retrieve the information quickly, reliably, under all scenarios, and by the people that need that information? Okay. So when it comes to when you're dealing with maximizing the ROI and cost savings, you want to understand if the solution you're installing or you're looking at is actually going to help you to identify overspending. So, you've told us through these polls that essentially, your cloud providers in your network, excuse me, your network service providers are giving you bills. They're just telling you, hey, you owe us this much money, but they're not telling you why. And that's understanding why you're spending the money is at the heart of a good observability solution, and it's at the heart of creating your ROI case. And a good solution is going to show you, okay, you've got AWS charges for, region to region egress traffic. Okay, but it doesn't tell you what region to region. But an observability solution that's good will actually show you, hey, here's your top talkers between regions. Here's your infrastructure that's not being used that you're paying for. Those types of things. And that's where network visibility comes into play. Solutions that can understand both on-prem and cloud infrastructure are going to be worth their weight in gold, because they can tie together. They can present your network in a way where it's a single entity, and you can track where traffic's going, where traffic's coming from within a public cloud, across public clouds, and then between your on-prem data centers and your clouds. And of course, this choosing the right solution is going to lead to long-term efficiency, because you are able to predict your costs, and you're going to be able to have your team use the product to troubleshoot quickly with minimal infrastructure, and with minimal operational costs to deliver those efficiencies. And so let's go ahead and do a third poll question now.
I have just activated the poll, and it's which troubleshooting issue costs your organization the most? Looks like the winner is spending hours in post-incident analysis. I will go ahead and share the results.
Yeah, so the spending hours in post-incident analysis, this is an area that we definitely see with solutions that just can't perform quick enough. Like, your team is ready to troubleshoot, your team is ready to analyze, but the time involved in rendering that data can be astronomical. And then solutions that are siloed, that are looking at specific areas of the network or specific networks, specific clouds, that's going to really add to your post-incident analysis as well, because there's at least one person per network that will be required, and each platform, each network is a separate skill set, and so having a solution that can bring everything together is going to help, and do it efficiently. It's going to help with that post-incident analysis there. And then as far as like paying for multiple overlapping monitoring tools, this is something that we see again with older legacy solutions that were basically implemented by a specific team, and they're not easily shared. And those not easily being shared could be due to a lack of role-based authentication, where you can easily say, okay, these networks or these entities are only visible for these people and these other people can't see it. That could be the problem. It could also be just some organizations have a lot of technical debt because the solutions cannot be easily replaced. They're locked into certain vendors. Their data is locked up. So the portability of your data, again, is really important. It's going to help break down those barriers. So there are, we talked about a lot of different aspects of ROI. And these are some other ones that are really specific to the actual technical aspects of the product that you're looking at that you might want to consider. So for the initial setup of the observability solution, is this going to require professional services? So that's a hidden cost, right? You need to ask that. Do you need a team on site or even remote to perform installation and troubleshooting? That's always going to cause a delay and be expensive. Some solutions out there are not going to have really any great dashboards until you have some custom development, which could be professional services again. If there are dashboards, ask about, hey, how can I change this dashboard? Can I do it myself? Do I need to involve development? And give them some scenarios about what you might want to change and see how easy it is. A good solution is going to be able to you'll be able to really change anything that you want without having to get under the hood and start looking at code. Instrumentation is a big one as well. So what besides the platform and the software and the service, what do I need to add into my network so that I can get the most value, right? That's another kind of hidden cost. Specifically in what I'm talking about is network taps, which are basically a way to mirror traffic. Those can be intrusive and expensive appliances versus looking at flow data as an example. Flow data is something that your network already is capable of generating. So that can be a quick win, right? You're not going to have to add additional infrastructure just to generate the network metadata that you need in the form of flow data. Coding, customization, again, we kind of talked about this with the dashboarding. Or another way places could come into play is like if you want to change the information as it's coming into the product. Sometimes you want to tag the data or label the information in a certain way so that it has business context. This could require a feature request with some products. Other products don't require that at all. It's actually part of the platform. It's out of the box. There are machine learning. AI is all the rage now, of course, and you need to make sure that it's actually true machine learning and understand how flexible that machine learning is, because obviously these solutions are not perfect. So you need to understand how easy it is to create your own machine learning jobs and how you can modify those machine learning jobs. Does it require extensive scripting and tuning? Is it another feature request? Is it professional services? Getting your head wrapped around that is important. Professional services, we talked about that. You want to minimize that, obviously. Scalability is a really big one, right? Our solution utilizes a data platform called Elasticsearch. It can also use OpenSearch or other platforms. Elasticsearch and OpenSearch are easily scalable. They're built from the ground up to be scalable, and you can kind of tell by the name Elasticsearch, right? So as you need capacity, you can actually add additional nodes with no downtime. So it's pretty cool. So ask your vendor, what it looks like. Again, hey, if I need to double my network size, like what does that involve? What's all the lift involved there? There's a strong temptation to go with solutions that can essentially do everything, and that sounds cool, but again, those solutions may not do any particular thing very well. So if you can go with a best of breed solution that will work and understand and integrate with other solutions, that's where we've seen the best uptake and value versus a solution that can do a lot of things, but again, doesn't really play well with others, and is kind of limited in each of those capacities that it has. Our solution is built razor focused for network flow data, NetFlow, SFlow, IPFix. And so it's something that the product does very well. And of course, it can interoperate with other solutions you might choose, like for infrastructure monitoring and those types of things. So those are just some more aspects of the solution that you're looking at that you might want to consider. I want to go ahead and show you just a few ways that we provide a quick demonstration of our product to show you kind of how we can meet a lot of these needs. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. Okay. So this is Elastiflow. This dashboard and all of the other dashboards comes 100% out of the box. This is running in a web-based platform. Many users can be accessing this data at the same time for easy collaboration. It's very easy to share information as well. You just hit the share button, and then you can actually collaborate with coworkers when you're trying to tackle an outage or an incident. It makes it very easy. But you don't have to create any of these dashboards. The ability to customize these dashboards is present as well. The dashboards are built with the standard, a standard technology. So this is not like a custom plugin that would require development by anybody. You just hit the edit button right here, and then you can really change any aspect that you want about anything. Like, you'd be amazed at what you can do. So you're not going to have to resort to development, programming, or professional services to really change anything. Whatever you want to do is available. So this is kind of like the overview dashboard. We have a top talkers dashboard. This is by and far the most popular aspect of network observability. This is something this is what everybody uses and needs. So this is what's going to help you understand why you have region to region data transfer costs, like who's driving that cost, what applications are being used, who's using those applications. So you can attribute the usage to different cost centers, and then implement chargebacks, and just understand why your bills are what they are from your cloud or your service provider. Again, this is the most popular. Core services. This is an ability to keep an eye on the basic services that your network relies on every day: DNS, DHCP, Radius, LDAP, NTP. One of the things that we offer is the ability to look at the threat posture of your network, right? Has your network encountered any high-risk IPs? And we attribute those risks to the MITRE attack framework. Long story short, this is information that your security teams would love to have. And the fact that your network team, or the fact that this product works so well with respect to collaboration, your network team can leverage this information as well to drive down the amount of time it takes to figure out what's wrong, what's causing egress charges, what's causing the high utilization of network hardware and cloud hardware. And there are, we talked about how customizable the dashboarding is and how flexible it is, but at the same time, how everything is out of the box. This is just one of those visualizations that comes out of the box. It's highly very popular, where you can instantly understand what are the top sources of traffic in my network, and where is that traffic going? What are the ports and protocols and applications that are being used? This helps you very easily understand, what you need from a capacity planning standpoint for both your network and your applications, and understand if your security policies are that you are in effect everywhere that they should be. And you can understand when those policies are being violated. Do you have traffic going between zones that shouldn't be, causing a lot of expense and risk as well? The traffic, I did touch briefly on the ability to assign metadata, or basically tag your traffic or your network information in a way that makes sense, where you can attribute data to business units, or products, lines of business, things like that. So you can certainly do that, and we also will show you we can geolocate the data as well. So we are adding this information into the data in real time, so you can understand what your topology looks like, how your application is being accessed, right? Maybe you have an application that's performing poorly, and you find out that it's actually, there's a bunch of traffic going from one component of an application to a remote DNS server. And that remote DNS server is causing a lot of latency because of it's geodistant. It's very far away, right? So this could show you very quickly, hey, you've got DNS going thousands of miles away. And then you could share this information with your applications team and your team that's managing maybe like a load balancer or things like that. And then you'd be able to solve that issue very quickly. The AS traffic dashboard we're showing here, this is going to be helpful in understanding how you're seen throughout the world and what large networks are interfacing with you and how you interface with those networks. If you see a large amount of traffic, if the majority of your traffic is relying on, let's say, AT&T, and you're constantly getting hit with bills by AT&T, perhaps you want to establish some kind of peering relationship with AT&T to drive down the dollar spend that you have with that network, right? This would surface that for you. So it lets you just be more proactive and not just keep paying bills and not understanding, why or how to reduce those costs. And as far as we talked a little bit about data portability, vendor lock-in, and those types of things. So all the data in here is available to be extracted or used or transformed or backed up via API. It's stored, excuse me, in an open source platform. So there is no vendor lock-in, right? The data is in the data platform. If you want to take it out and do anything else with it, you can. One of those things that is really popular nowadays is to run additional analytics on top of that data in the form of, excuse me, in the form of machine learning. And we actually, not only do we provide all of these dashboards I'm showing you out of the box, but we also provide machine learning anomaly detection out of the box. So you can actually have these machine learning jobs running on day one with the product with zero configuration. You add the jobs, turn them on, and if you want to receive alerts, you can set that up. If not, you can start just consuming those alerts just kind of in a dashboard. You don't have to get a notification necessarily. So if there's any traffic anomalies, this solution is going to show you that using machine learning. So everyone that implements these machine learning jobs is going to have different thresholds, and those thresholds can change over time. So it customizes itself to your network, and that way you're not having to figure out what is normal for your network, right? This is going to learn that for you, so that you can take appropriate action. And these jobs will cover both network operations use cases and security operations. And it's all done with flow data, which is a very efficient way to gather network utilization information. These jobs also work, of course, across clouds, across data centers in between. Okay. So that concludes the quick demonstration I wanted to provide on our product and how we can help with driving down the costs that subtract from your return on investment. So let's go ahead and do the last poll question now.
So the last poll is, which hidden cost in network security poses the biggest impact financially? I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. But it does look like delayed, and well, we got enough on all of them, and it looks like delayed incident response leading to higher damage is the highest one here.
Yep, not surprising. It can take an incredible amount of time just to figure out if there is a problem in the first place, and our platform aims to drive that down. So that's something to think about when you're looking for a solution. You want to kind of model some scenarios with the vendor and see, how quickly the product would help to drive down that mean time to investigate and to resolve. The lack of insight into rogue devices consuming paid resources. That's an interesting one. Our machine learning jobs can actually notify you if there is a new device on the network at all, right? A new DNS server can be a huge security problem. A new DHCP server can be a huge security problem. The ML jobs we have can notify the appropriate teams about those events. And with the ability to spin up resources in cloud providers, with that ability being so easy, anybody could create a rogue device in a matter of seconds. And it's not necessarily a malicious thing, right? It's so easy. Why not? Right. And that's a huge driver of cost right there. But with the right solution, you'll know exactly when it occurs, and what that machine is, so that appropriate action can be taken. So that concludes the presentation. There are a few resources that we wanted to share with you at the end of this presentation here. So one of them is the network monitoring solution checklist. Again, just some quick questions that you can ask when you're looking for another observability solution that can help you zero in more quickly on the right solution for you. And so we'll be providing this slide deck, so you can go ahead and use this as a reference. But this is just a summary of a lot of the questions that we've already covered. We
actually got one question come through.
Oh.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A section for OJ. I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, how long will implementation take, and when will we see value?
Yeah, so implementation with our product, we actually have a proof of concept package that's a virtual appliance. So you can import this virtual appliance, turn it on, and within minutes, you're going to have dashboards just like I showed you in the demonstration. And if you want to roll that to production, you can. And of course, it scales very, very easily as well. So you can actually have additional virtual appliances or resources as your network is going to grow.
Thank you, OJ. It also looks like we have another question from Alvin. So it's how can we avoid the disruption caused by false alarms when using machine learning?
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what you mean by disruption. Obviously, machine learning jobs are a starting point for investigation, and the machine learning jobs will also show you the severity, like how far off of the current baseline the network traffic pattern that is detected is, right? So something that's less off of the closer to the baseline, not as far away, not extreme, it'll actually be labeled as not as severe. You can also start by focusing the machine learning jobs on just the important, like the high criticality assets in your network. That's probably something that is a good idea to start with. And once that is done, then you can start expanding to a larger and larger network. Those are just a couple suggestions. And then lastly, there is the ability to log a ticket within the data platform, and also log a ticket in a third-party ticketing platform like ServiceNow or something like that. And in those platforms, in the data platform itself and in ServiceNow, you can actually choose whether or not an event is a false positive, and then the system will learn from that.
Thank you, OJ. Alvin, I hope this answers your question. If you have any additional questions, you can feel free to ask them in the Q&A as well. It looks like Ori had a comment in the chat, and he's asking, what does Elastaflow aim to replace, and what does it aim to complement? Can you speak to OOB alerting capabilities and integrations with ITOM and incident management platforms? Oh, looks like you already answered the second half of his question.
Yeah, so our solution is razor focused on network flow data and network traffic analysis. So our competitors are the network traffic analysis solutions that rely on NetFlow. Okay, and again, NetFlow is a very efficient way to understand the utilization of a network without relying on full packets, right? And it's going to provide you that visibility that infrastructure monitoring solutions typically don't have or cannot keep up with, because the data platforms that they're leveraging were made for SNMP versus a high data rate metric or metadata like NetFlow. So any NetFlow centric product is something that we're aiming to that is something that we're competing with. As far as integrations go, you name it, the data platform we're leveraging can integrate with it. It even supports custom webhooks, which is more or less a universal way to interact with a third party. So PagerDuty, ServiceNow, Slack, Teams, those are all available out of the box. I think that covered all the questions in that question. Is there anything I missed, Carla?
No, sounds like you're covered. So we do have one more question, and I'm going to leave room for another one. If anyone has any last minute questions, please feel free to ask it now. So the current question is, how quickly can the solution process queries in critical moments?
Yeah, so within seconds. The way the database is created, you can actually query tens of millions or billions of records in seconds. You can find an indicator of compromise in seconds, and that's with multiple people accessing the platform at one time. So I haven't seen a solution that works as quickly as that also provides the usability and the customization without coding, as Elasticsearch or OpenSearch.
Thank you, OJ.
Mhm.
So we did get our final question from Justin. What value can Elastiflow provide in AWS when compared to AWS CloudWatch Log, Insights, and dashboards?
Yeah, so the solution that it can provide is that you won't need an AWS skill set in order to understand network traffic. And it will also connect the dots between what is being seen in AWS and what's being seen on-prem, because more often than not, organizations are going to still have some assets on-prem. And it's the on-prem assets that cause the security incidents, that cause the hairpinning of traffic, impacting performance. And of course, all that's going to drive cost as well, because now you've got cloud egress charges. So having something that can overlay wherever your network is going to be a big value.
Thank you, Justin, for your question. And thank you, OJ, for going through all of that. If we can move to the final slide,
Sure.
And wrap things up. We would like to start by saying thank you for joining this webinar. And if you have, and OJ, I think we had a slide that pulls up the next steps for everyone. And it's okay because we can share.
I'm sorry. I had my screen paused for a minute. There you go. Yep.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for attending. And if you'd like to learn more and you'd like to be part of our community where different professionals just talk about their problems and you can discuss them with an Elastiflow professional as well that can help guide you through your steps, you can do that by joining our Slack community and forum. You can also get a 1-year basic license to get you started with Net Intel Not Observe. And if you have any additional questions that we didn't get the chance to cover, you can reach out to sales@elastiflow.com and you can schedule a demo as well. Again, thank you so much for attending, and please don't forget to go through the survey at the end. Have a good day, everyone. Bye. Thank you.